Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, sorry, littering.
Oh, I thought
Again?
that was it. You just won $100,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Get that out of the way.
You gotta make sure, right?
Yeah. I think it would have went in your pocket if that was a winning number.
You gotta give me some credit for ethics.
Well, I mean, if I threw it away, finders keepers, as they say.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
I did.
I did find a spot under county councilor's report. That doesn't read right. Pat, did you think that we were
No,
looking?
that's unclear.
It says on the first line, it says, told the board that the check previously mentioned condemnation case. There's some text missing or
Followed up with the board about the
I was said,
previously mentioned condemnation case and check the county received.
well, we're talking about a check when you go ahead in the rest of the paragraph. I could run over real quick and see if Michelle had any enlightenment on it, or is that protocol, or is that, can we ask her about it and approve them later, or?
You could approve them later. You don't have to approve them today.
Well, I would say until we have clarification there, I would table passing.
I moved that we table the passing of the minutes until the meeting on October 3rd.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. We will table the minutes. Commissioner comments and committee reports. Jack, do you have any?
I haven't got any, no.
I attended the juvenile correction meeting in Leavenworth, and the mental health department, Keith Richard, got some kind of grant, so he is going to staff. He's going to hire 2 people to staff to provide services. And I asked the question, well, this is a grant, then next year if you don't get the money again, are you going to be able to continue this on? And he didn't answer. It wasn't very well attended. There was more missing than there was there, but that's basically what we talked about.
Okay. I had a NECAP board meeting Thursday night. Mainly we dealt with board training, keeping us abreast of our bylaws and things like that's what we dealt with pretty much Thursday night. And that's all I had there. Everything seems to be sound financial shape and progressing. We're ahead of last year on our enrollments in Head Start and Early Head Start. So, okay. Our 105 is not going to be here, but he was here this morning, and he brought us a couple items. So okay, the first one was Seth brought us an authority to award contract commitment of county funds, which is it was bidded out for the signage project. The winning bid was $203,829 to Traffic Management LLC of Holton. We would need to approve this and signatures. Do I hear a motion to accept this bid?
I so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passed 3-0.
2 copies.
No, it's just the one, but 3 signatures.
I bet Michelle's going to have a signed copy of the chair on herself.
Yeah.
I'll put it in here and she can make a copy of this one. She's going to have to sign it.
Okay.
Did you have another? Oh, okay. Well, we can sign a second copy.
I gave her a blank copy.
Okay. But we can go ahead and sign the second one, and I'll put it in the folder with this one, and Michelle can do with it as she...
I just was trying to help her with the minutes by handing the copy. So.
Sure. I didn't even realize you had a second copy. Sorry.
I think we all got copies.
Okay, then we had a bid on boring from 2 different. We got 2 different bids. One from Terracon and one from Geosource. Terracon was what, $300 less than Geosource, and so it was.
Depends on the depth.
Yeah, it's so much per foot, and it varies according to how deep it goes. How the bid for the but anyway, it was pretty close. But anyway, it was recommended that we would go with Terracon. Do I hear a motion to?
So moved to go
Sign
with
it.
Terracon.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. There is nothing. I think we'll just initial this as the commissioners, and we don't really have a PO, but we can use that as verification that it was signed off on. Okay. Now, we've got a while before 1:30 appointment, so here's another item. We need to verify the appointment of Bill Pohl to the as an Atchison County representative to the Juvenile Corrections Advisory Board. Are there any comments first or on that?
They was also going to apply the guy that wrote the grants. I don't recall his name, but maybe they do that.
Well, I think
Just for commissioners.
well, maybe, I don't know if they've drawn up the agreement yet. We may get it next week or something. But so do I
I
hear?
told him I was willing to serve again.
Do I hear a motion to accept Bill as the appointment to the Juvenile Corrections
Yeah, I
Board?
moved to have Bill be appointed by the commission to serve as a board member on the Action Board of
Juvenile Corrections. I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. Okay, now there's nothing for us. Michelle's the only one to sign that. Wow, clicking through this.
Kind of on we're on that subject, we discussed there's a big need for housing the juveniles, and they more or less said that Atchison County is spending a lot of money, and they proposed to build a new facility, and it suggested they be real close to the courthouse. Now, I don't know where they're going to build a facility down there to house kids close to the courthouse.
Leavenworth is gonna build another one.
They're considering it.
Hmm.
I think that was Judge King's comment.
Oh,
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah, I didn't understand when they built that, how they built it, it's just whole acre.
where is our juvenile home?
We don't have one, we use Leavenworth.
Oh, it's there. Okay, there. Oh.
And theirs is, it's just right behind the judicial center. I don't know whether it's attached or not, I think it's not. It's immediately behind, on the north end.
Just as an aside, where is our panic button?
I don't know.
Just a couple weeks ago, he came in and tested it. Remember?
It's right here.
It's over there, she said.
It's behind you.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Well,
Should have it
Just-
on here.
I don't
We'd have
care
to
where it's
pan-
at.
We'd have to be in panic for the panic button.
Yeah. I don't know what made me think of that. It's like, well, things get moved around. Need to be prepared. Well, it's quite a ways before 1:30. Should we skip over? Is there any new business before the board?
Should we discuss anything in our workshop? Such as the possibility of a large
Economic development.
urban development
I think we should keep it
under,
in the workshop.
okay.
Okay, we discussed the solid waste meeting October 3rd.
We also have the public forum on star bonds in October. I guess it's October 2nd.
Second at 6 p.m.
o'clock. Now the public is invited. It's about using star bonds to finance a museum and near the airport and do some things around the farmers market and those areas.
Okay.
And I know there's a lot of misunderstanding about star bonds. And I think a lot of it is because even our state legislatures have trouble understanding it. Because it's not that complex, it's pretty simple. I think people want to make it complex, but
Hmm.
it'd be a great chance for us to understand it if we ever want to use it, for example, too.
It seemed to me like when they were doing that, were they going to sunset or were they?
They evidently got it in before, and I don't remember if the legislature reenacted them, but I think they got their application before the expiration.
Yeah, I think that they did get the application in, but they were pressed because of that, but I didn't know whether they had ever been renewed or not.
Right, that I don't know. I know that the city of Wichita and some of those places are also using star bonds. One thing in Wichita is to finance a new baseball stadium. They have a San Diego Padres minor league team. It's going to be there. So and basically, they're funded by, payments are paid by the increases in sales tax, not by sales tax. So it's just for they create economic activity. There's an increase in sales tax, and that's how it's paid to bondholders.
That'd be interesting.
So it'd be an interesting informational item at this meeting to understand it. And they'll probably have people, I know there are people there that do understand it. I just have a general idea.
Okay. Anybody else have any new business? We can go on to old business, unfinished business.
Did the sports complex ever come up and request that $8,000 or $10,000?
No,
No.
I mean, there's been. I thought they were planning on it. And they were indicated they were going to, and I haven't heard anything from them.
I think I heard Don Ball was off for like a month with back surgery. So he's kind of the leader. I think maybe he's been incapacitated. I haven't been in the bank lately to see if he's back or not.
Okay, do we have any county councilor updates?
I was contacted by Benedictine again, wondering if we had any direction on what we were anticipating, and trying to make plans. They were trying to make plans on what bonding authority you might be willing to grant for next year. I really told them we hadn't had a whole lot more discussion substantively about dollar amounts, but they suggested that $7 million, if they would use $7 million, would that be agreeable? That would leave $3 million for your projects. And I told them I would talk with you about it. We can either talk in executive session, or we can table it. Because I'm not sure that you're ready to really make any decisions about it until you have a plan on the bridges. So
I'm not ready to make a decision. I think we need some time to discuss what our plans are for next year.
What is their timeline? I mean, they seem like they're eager. I mean, is there a cutoff on that?
I think with our lease purchase and some plans we may have, my opinion, we cannot give them $7 million. We're going to be cutting it too close.
Well, if you take $2 million for us, the bonding, $500,000 for lease purchases, that'll leave you $500,000 in reserve, and that's not very much.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Would another million? Would $6 million for them? I'm just throwing it out. And that would give us 4, which would give us
A little more cushion.
$1.5 million for a cushion.
Mhm.
That's starting to sound like some breathing room there. I mean,
Yeah. And I know the city has bonding. They have, they could issue the industrial river bonds themselves too, so they might want to go to the city for part of it.
Could they get bonds from both county and the city?
I don't know, but I probably.
what's the technical name for? Is there for these
they're
bonds?
educational revenue bonds.
Educational revenue bonds. Okay.
I think
Yeah.
revenue bonds is what they're called in the statute.
Well, do we
RBs,
want them to come back up, or do we want to say we'll give $6 million?
Or tell them we're not ready to make a decision.
I think
talk to us
that's,
in February or something.
yeah, I think that's probably
What would be the timeline for getting back?
I think they was wanting to know pretty quick, the way I took it.
I never did hear a timeline for them. I mean, I was surprised that they've already gotten back, so that's indicating that I'd myself, I think $6 million would be plenty to. I bet that's going to almost the minimum amount that I feel $1.5 million for us would be just the minimum amount of cushion. So that's just where I'm thinking, but I'm open to suggestions. Or what was the target for these bonds again?
it was about $8 million, wasn't it?
Well, I'm
Just under $8 million.
no. What I meant was the target for them needing the bonds. What were they? Was there a project?
A date? No, it's refinancing.
Just the refinancing, but they need the extra. Okay.
Yeah, they're not doing new bonds, they're just refinancing the bonds. So, but technically what they're doing is paying off the bondholders and issuing more bonds at a lower rate.
Okay. I would say we're not ready to make a decision. If they really press you, tell them. I mean,
Well, I'm happy to tell them, just come back and let's talk in, I don't know whether I should tell them 60 days, 90 days.
60 days
Let
at
me
least.
ask a dumb question. If we're all in agreement with the $6 million, why don't we just say we would feel comfortable allowing you $6 million, but no more, because that would cut our plans are. Because we basically know that. And then if they wanted to get more bonding, and just come up and be honest with them up front. You know, we're willing to go 6 million, and
You certainly could do that for you.
Are you okay with that, or would you rather wait?
I mean,
Sure.
or do you want
I
to
mean, if
wait?
we could give them another $500,000 or $1 million, I'd want to do it. But if they're saying what we can give them, I think 6 million is what we can do. I agree with the commissioners.
Okay. I'll relay that back.
Okay. Okay. Do you have anything more?
No, that's all.
Okay. Well, good thing you're early. Come on up.
Afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, we are up here to report back on sending the collections process vendors back to the advisory board. They met on Friday afternoon out at our place, and both vendors made their proposals to the advisory board. The advisory board again voted to go with the Collection Bureau of Kansas. So we're presenting that information again to the commission.
Any thoughts?
What lead the advisory board in that direction? Is there any one particular thing?
Now I'll have to be refreshed a little bit, make sure I'm getting things right. Since Mr. Knoll was there, that lean towards it was the totality of what they were capable of, at least in their presentation, and the experience level.
I would say one thing, between the first and the second time the advisory committee voted on it, we had different members present, so it wasn't the same. We actually had more members present this Friday, and so some of them had heard this for the first time, and I don't want to give a name, but one of them says it wasn't even close. So in favor of the presentation by the Collections Bureau of Kansas. That's not my quote, that was his. And I don't even think we had delved into much of why it was back at the advisory committee at that point.
No, we basically
we kind of had to,
over
yeah.
and put it back out on the table on the same footing.
How long is this contract for?
The proposed contract is 1 year. There are still a few things that need to be tweaked in there.
It's an awful detailed contract, so or just a simple thing process.
For 1 year.
It-
With an opt-out at 30 days.
30 days
Okay.
of written notice. Actually, no, it's 24 months. Mhm.
Okay, that's that one. So,
I have heartburn with 24 months. We don't know who these people are.
Well, I would say we kind of know who they are because they do our collections for our upstairs, for our judicial.
They haven't actually started.
Well, they are our clients.
So, well, but they, true.
I have a problem with 24 months. Let's leave their performance.
There's 30-day opt-out at any time during that 24 months.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I have a problem with 24 months. I have a better feeling with 1 year renewal.
I don't have a problem with that, although if you have a 30-day opt-out for any reason, I don't see really much difference. But Can that be changed?
Definitely ask.
Yeah, there are a few other things in the contract we needed to talk
So they need to
about.
come back then when they get the contract
Well,
finished?
I think just the authority to enter into a contract is all they're really asking, and we can get the details of that worked out.
I still have heartburn for not using local contractors to send kids to schools, shop our grocery stores. I have a problem with that. I don't think it's that big a spread that makes a difference, but.
I believe that's the reason we have advisory boards, and it was
Well,
two.
advisory boards aren't gonna be named in the lawsuit, Derek. I'm gonna get named in the lawsuit. If there is one.
You're afraid of getting in a lawsuit? I mean,
Well, Mr. County Councilor, who's gonna get sued if there's a problem?
Is what?
Who's gonna get sued if there's a problem with collection?
Well, yeah, the board is gonna get sued on,
Okay.
but that's on,
you're insinuating there would be more chance of getting sued by if one person had it than the other.
No, I'm just saying that.
I believe that's the way I read it.
Doesn't trump the county board.
No,
Okay.
no, but one entity is more likely to result in a lawsuit than the other, is what you're saying.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, that's what it
You
sounded
said
like.
that's what the advisory board approved, right? I said they're not gonna be the ones that get sued. So I just want to keep in mind that they are an advisory board.
I think they're fully aware of that.
Okay.
I won't get that far in, but I'm leaning towards the local because every Friday he's here. He already represents the hospital. The hospital is very pleased with his services. If we're comparing apples to apples, that's why I asked the question. Now, if there's something different, tell me what that is, and then maybe that'll sway my mind. But as of right now, if one will do the same as the other, we have a man 50 feet across from the courthouse. He's here every Friday. Chances are the hospital is going to have a bad debit bill along with the ambulance, and to me it makes sense to have him doing both.
Okay, I'll go there. I think that he had his opportunity to present the first time his case. He didn't get voted in. He wasn't picked. He was in second place. So his bid changed, and he changed what he would provide, and we didn't know it until he came here and presented to us. None of the board was aware that he would suddenly use the set-off program. He was sidestepping the process that was laid out and wants a second bite at the apple. And I think if we had a bridge letting and somebody wasn't pleased that they didn't get the bid and we allowed them to rebid and they matched the first person, I don't think we would accept it. He basically found out what the winning bid got, changed his own bid to match the Collections Bureau of Kansas, and then the board was considered or told to reconsider our position to accept the new bid, his new proposal. And I don't think that's fair. I think it sets a bad precedent that we're willing to keep pulling the chair out for some people, or if somebody comes in for a bid, or they're going to apply for a job and they don't get it, they're going to come back and demand another shot at it. I think it sends a very bad precedent.
I felt when he come to us, he'd give us his opinion of the step up, step off, or whatever.
Which he didn't like.
He didn't like because he didn't think it would work, because he thought that very few of the people that owed bad debit would get any tax rebate money back.
And when we had someone on the board that is very versed in it, uses it, and recommends it very highly. And so when somebody that comes to our board and basically said, I don't think I'll like it, but I've never used it, and then we have somebody on the board that uses it and does like it, it weighs, that's part of the problem. It weighs very heavily. It weighs the board, because we had somebody with practical experience that has used that program and likes it.
We also had a conversation with the employee saying what she heard that day, that she would probably go back to the advisory board and recommend Mr. Waring. Correct?
I said that if they both offer the same thing, that I would go with the other one. I said that in the advisory board meeting too, but the decision is theirs.
Well, I hate to go to the advisory board because they're doing things at no pay, but in this instance, I would have to disagree with the advisory board.
The presentations from both sides, I mean, that the advisory board saw, made it very clear who the better candidate was.
2 votes unanimously.
If you were going to make that decision, I would hope that you would see both candidates for yourself before you make it.
That's why I ask if they're both saying the same thing.
One came around to say the same thing as the first. We gave him a second, third chance.
We'll have the other company come here and talk to us personally. That's not going to sway my vote.
So you won't change your vote no matter what the other company says?
That's why I asked the question, if they're both willing to do the same thing. We have a man that's representing the hospital. They're very pleased. If you talk to them, he's here every Friday. Chances are the hospital is going to have a collection against this person, and so with the county, it just makes sense to have one person to do both. To me, that's just me.
Do you have anything further?
No, I don't need to add anything to the conversation.
We're going to have to, because right now it's 1-1. I would take it if we had a vote.
Well, I mean, are you ready to make a motion?
What's the repercussions going to be if we do decide to go with Mr. Waring as far as the ambulance and the ambulance advisory board?
I don't think there's any repercussions to going with Mr. Waring at all. The repercussion is we've shown no faith in our advisory board. I think that would be the biggest single repercussion. And they've made 2 unanimous votes and we've gone against them. Is the advisory board a viable vehicle anymore?
I'll make a motion that we go with the Collection Bureau of Kansas.
I'd call clock.
I didn't hear you. What?
I said I would call clock. That means if you don't get a second at a certain time, the motion dies.
What is the certain time?
I think it's 2 minutes, isn't it?
I have no idea. I was the chair of the meeting. Suppose you could wait as long as. I don't know that there is a deadline, but I think that'd be within your discretion on how long to wait.
2 minutes has passed.
Mr. Chairman, I would move, we move on, and the motion didn't pass, so it's, and I would make the motion that we go with Mr. Waring as our collection agency.
Do I hear a second?
I would second that.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. Passed 2-1. I would like to make a motion to dissolve the Ambulance Advisory Committee.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
Pardon?
We can have discussion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. I don't think that is a wise thing to do.
I don't think we'll be effective because I don't think people will show up anymore.
Before I second, I should have said we should give the option of the advisory board, give them our decision, and if they want to continue, I'm 100% for it. If they want to discontinue, I'll honor what they want.
I think there's a lot of smart people there, so
The motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
No, wait a minute, got back
You
up.
seconded it.
Aye, 2-1, I guess. You're, oh,
but you don't have to vote for it, just give a second. So I'll say aye. I'm saying aye, I'm saying nay. Okay.
All opposed. I said all of,
Okay. Aye. Opposed.
you're opposed. So it was 1 in favor, 2 opposed? Or was your vote for?
Well,
or,
I
you
would-
said it in between, so I don't,
well, when you said I make the motion,
and you seconded it.
yeah, but we should have some discussion. If I can send my second, I would like to give the option, let the advisory board know that we disagreed with them on this decision. If they would like to continue, fine. If they would like to dissolve, fine. It's in their hands.
So is that a motion then to, how do we put that forth?
We have to come up with a new motion, or just Terry can
I
rescind
think
his.
he's trying to clarify what the vote was on the last motion, and I'm unclear on that as well. So I think the direct question is, was your vote in favor or opposed to?
My vote was in favor of dissolve if the advisory board wants to dissolve. I don't want
That would be
them
an
to-
amended motion.
Yes, I don't want Eric or whoever to go back and say, well, they chose Mr. Waring and they also chose to dissolve. I would like that option to be up to the advisory board.
How do we proceed? Was it being an amended motion? So we'd have to vote again on the amended motion or rescind the first motion?
One of those things, either of them would be
There's
appropriate.
a problem with the clarity of the vote, so
Right.
You may withdraw your second and then make a new motion.
Okay, I rescind my second.
You may have a vote and then make a new motion, or you may table it till your next meeting, or you could discuss it.
When is your next board meeting? Do you know?
December, the first weekend in December.
November.
Oh, yeah, because we weren't going to meet in December.
I have to look at my calendar now.
It is November, it'll be the 10th, because the 3rd is the first Friday, but that's not enough time to get all the reports done. So it's in.
It's quite a ways
It
from
takes
now.
me 3 or 4 days to generate the monthly reports, so if it falls too close to that, we usually push it back.
However you want to proceed with it.
No, it's not how I'm wanting to proceed. I already made
I
my
was
feelings
looking- I
clear.
was looking at Corey, if he wants to
Oh.
call a special meeting. If If you want to ask them if they want to continue on, or Wes, or...
I don't think you're going to have
Well,
any
Mr. Chairman,
attendance.
I'm a non-voting member of that board. So it would be Mr. Lanner's decision on the call meeting.
We'll
Well,
just leave
I-
it up to Mr. Lanner.
because he's emergency manager and that kind of fall. Could you just email him, say, the commission decided 2-1 to go with Mr. Waring? The chairman brought up to possibly do away with the advisory board. What is your opinion? And
I can do that. I know several of them are going to be in favor of disbanding because they've met twice now. And they've met twice now and they feel like they're wasting their time if the commission doesn't go with what they all unanimously agreed to. Which, I mean, that's your option. They're an advisory board. Jack is right. They're an advisory board. They're not the controlling board. You three are. But if this continues to happen to where they suggest A and you guys choose B, then it won't show up. So,
I believe this will be the first time, won't it, that we
I'm
disagree.
not saying it's been
Disagreed with.
multiple times, I'm just saying they met twice now. One was an emergency meeting, so they had to take off work to get there.
And if I was on that end, I would probably feel the same way. I mean, I'm not getting paid. I'm just doing this to make our county better and giving back. And then if they go against what we suggest,
Well, this is not the first time boards have been overridden by the governing body. And I think they had a lot of contribution. I think that you guys have got a lot out of it. If they decide they don't feel that way, then I think they need maybe have a little bit of time to pass before they jump there and there's not as much emotion. Then they make that decision.
Either way, you don't need this decision to move forward. We can have this at our next meeting if need be. Because you've already voted on how they are to proceed. So it's really not a deciding factor. in the next
yeah, but don't
meeting.
you, well, I'm not on board, but don't you think they'd rather hear sooner than later, or is that gonna,
Oh, I'm gonna call it. email
you'll let them know,
here.
okay.
Yeah, they need to know.
Yeah.
I don't think they gotta make a decision
Correct.
right now.
No, I mean, it'd be better if they heard your decision before they read it in the newspaper. So.
Okay, is there anything further? Okay, thank you very much.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for coming up here.
Thanks, Wes.
So we gonna be in trouble on open meeting, maybe? Or Wes, or?
I don't know.
I guess we're on camera.
So we have till 2 o'clock, so Peggy should be up pretty quick, I guess.
How many is on that board we're gonna have? Is there gonna be a majority one way or another, or is there an even number on that board? 6, 8, 9?
Well, there were 6 present, and the gal from the hospital was not there. The ones that voted were Rivas, Potts, me, J.D. Thompson, the Carrie McHugh,
Alan
And-
Rivas,
Alan,
Yeah,
Al-
he mentioned
yeah,
it.
I can't think of the sixth one.
the fire
Would-
chief,
He wasn't there either.
but he's
but
on the board.
He's a board member and he voted for the first time. So there was, even though there was 6 unanimous this time, there was other board members present who also voted for Credit Bureau of Kansas. So Waring was batting 0. Say for the record, I think it's a bad precedent to start opening things back up and letting people rebid it, change their opinion, change what they were going to offer. We're going to do it on a bridge. We're going to do it hiring somebody.
Advisory looking at proposals is a lot different than a bidding process.
But you
You're
let,
comparing apples to oranges, Eric.
when the selection was made by the committee and Waring wasn't chosen, then he chose to change his proposal of what he was going to provide for the county. He didn't offer that before. And matter of fact, he made fun of the set-off program when he got here. He said it was basically a worthless program, but he was only willing to do it because we wanted. I asked specifically, in other words, you're just going to take part in the program just because you found out we wanted it? And he answered yes.
I spent the weekend up in Nemaha County. It doesn't sound like the crops up there are too whippy.
Well, mine's fantastic. The guy just got the first field done. I think there's 68 acres. Corn made 217.
And they must have just had a pocket up there. That was just-
It's dry right
yeah.
now.
I mean, considering it's only an hour drive, it's just amazing. Different.
I'm still waiting here.
Oh. Have you heard from them?
Yesterday and this afternoon, last night at 7, I was emailing them different documents or information they wanted this morning early. So they still had a few more questions that they didn't ask. So they're planning on being here.
Okay, good. Did you get the email? I got the
I
e-signature.
did. Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bet. I had that down and I forgot to say something yesterday while I was there,
I
and
know, and I thought about it after you left because I was going to tell you about it. So.
yeah, I had gotten it just right before I came down there. I'd written it at the bottom of my page, and I got home and it's like, It worked out good.
It's all done. Hopefully that'll get everything back on track.
What does that really entail? Why are they needing mine?
Every 5 years, Medicare requires a revalidation, and this is our 5th year, funny enough, doing, so this is my first time running through it. So last time it was Jeff. She decided to go through and take Jeff's name off as the, chair and put yours on, and Mike Bodenhouse was still having to take it. So just
Okay.
changing the players, and then I e-signed, but you have to okay me to e-sign.
Oh,
So that was part of that.
okay. Very good.
I'll go back out and I just didn't want to sit down on the bench for
Do we need a break before we meet?
You might as well take advantage of recess a little bit.
We want to recess for about 8 minutes. Reconvene at 2.
Sure.
Do we shut the camera off during the recess? Okay. Second one down, yeah.
Second it.
Okay. Is that ready? Okay. Yeah, I motion to go into a recess till 2 o'clock.
I second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. There we go.
Do we need a motion?
So just announcing the time for that session.
It's 2 o'clock. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Excellent.
By yourself?
No, Nathan is probably stuck on the train. Nathan should be around.
He's down at the ice cream store.
Peggy's here somewhere.
Did he tell you?
Have you seen Peggy out there?
I came from this way. Maybe she's waiting.
She might
I
be
don't
out.
know. Maybe she's on this.
Ish Morales.
Zish
Zish Morales.
Margulis
Morales.
and Nathan Frund.
There's Peggy.
Hello, hello.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I know I set the bar high last time, so I brought some pastries. It's not as local as a snowball, but it is from Kansas City.
It is Kansas.
And it is kosher. These are some of the best stuff you've ever had in your life.
I'm Caitlin. Nice to meet you.
Sorry.
No, yeah, I'm
Michelle.
filling in for Michelle today.
Oh, because I thought.
Yeah.
Because stuff is on the bottom, right? So by the time it gets to you, you'll
Thank
have
you.
something you'll
Always
like.
on the bag.
Awesome.
It's actually kosher, believe it or not.
Thank you.
There's a place in Kansas City where I get kosher food,
Uh
otherwise I wouldn't be coming here.
huh.
So that's our place. Since we started coming here, they actually extended their hours and they added a day in a week that they're open. So we were adding to the economy already.
Uh
Doing
huh.
our best. to
Thank
support
you.
I'm gonna pass for right now because I had a large lunch, but before they leave, I may have to take advantage of them.
We're not taking them with us.
Hold on.
They're very good.
Yeah,
They look delicious and
the
they smell
jelly
even
donut,
better.
yeah, the jelly donut, that's the real winner.
Nah, no, custard. That's my man right there.
Okay, I'll do the job.
That's the jelly donut, yeah.
Is there that?
Pass the man an napkin or two, yeah.
Feel
Right
free
in
if
front of
you
There's
so
one-
just.
someone's there today.
Peggy?
I'm good for now, thank you.
There's a separate box outside for her.
Well, how have you been?
Excellent. I
Good.
got in 2 hours ago, and I'm leaving in 2 hours, so
Well,
it's one of those days.
quick trip.
And I just spent this morning at Wathena, one of our facilities,
Mm-hmm.
right down the 7. Is that what I just came?
Yeah, up down 7 Highway.
K.S.A.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, although it's the funnest highway I've driven so far in Kansas, almost everything is flat. Like, we have a facility in Wichita, it's like 3 hours of flat driving.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
K7 was, exactly. K7 was up and down, lot
Like a
of it.
slalom a little bit.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know if you drove that day.
I don't think so. I got here, I left Lenexa, I had a meeting in Lenexa with our regional quality assurance meeting today. So I checked the GPS 20 times, I wanna be here on time, right? 56 minutes, 58 minutes, I leave exactly on time. For the GPS, I was an hour and 10 minutes. So I start flying up the highway. I figured when I rolled up, there'd be a line of police officers behind me trying to catch up to me.
Well, it is another way we support the Kansas
Right.
government.
We have gotten ticketed, I've gotten ticketed here.
On the
For
35
speeding
every
on the
time.
highway, yeah.
Mm.
Apparently above 95, it's not looked
Yeah, I don't think that we can call off our county employees on you. But, well, I don't know. We might be able to sick them on them, but I don't think we can call them off.
any way that works. But I always love coming here. I think it's the first time I've been here where it's not sunny outside, so it's a new experience for me. But we love coming here. So.
It's still humid though.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. And I just came from the quality assurance meeting. You know, it's a real. It's. I want to say it's a pat on our own backs, but it's really the staff here, the Kansas staff that we have. Like I mentioned, pressure ulcers have gone down in every building. Pressure ulcers is a cause of death. It's not just a stubbed toe. And some buildings have eliminated it. We have a building now with a patient that came in with 9 pressure ulcers.
Mm.
That's something that we would sleep over at night. Takes the staff 2 hours to do wound care on this patient. But they're healing a little bit at a time, and there's lots of ways to heal pressure ulcers. The traditional way is nursing intervention. A lot of treatment, dressings, something Alicia has first-hand experience.
As a nurse, yeah.
Nutrition is a huge part of wound care. You have to eat properly, weight, because your skin is the largest organ in the body, and if you break down your skin, you're going to have pressure ulcers. And the third way we do it now is with therapy. Our physical therapists are actually given Easton machines to regenerate cell tissue. We've had
That's electrical
electrical
stimulation.
stimulation, so we're putting on electrodes on both sides of the wound, and we're passing electrical activity through the wound. Through dead
Generates the
tissue.
skin
Talking
growth.
about wounds that haven't been healed in years are now being regenerated through electronic stimulation that's having good outcomes. It only has about 30-40% success rate, but no other building in the area does this. We've done it. We paid for the equipment in all our buildings because we believe in it. It will save people's lives. It'll get them out of their pain. It'll make them better.
You also have patients that have diabetics and they're never going to cure no matter what you do. That you just do what you can do.
Diabetes is the 1 out of 4 patients in this country. Hospitalizations is due to diabetes. Diabetes
Wow.
is a gateway disease. Vascular issues, cardiac issues, eye, legs, amputation, wounds. It's a gateway disease to everything else that can go chronically wrong with somebody. So there's a saying about diabetes: either you make it a priority or it makes itself a priority in your life. There's no running away from diabetes. The Midwest is not immune to a good diabetic care. Something that we've talked about for a long time. We haven't really found a doctor or a hospital that specializes in endocrinology that we can really just partner with them. It's we see it in our buildings. Someone has diabetes, it's just a gateway to lots of other issues. Like you said, wounds, eye care, vascular issues, pain, diabetic legs, podiatry.
Did they address the rehospitalization rate? That's one thing I wanted to know.
We're at an 8% portfolio wide.
For all 8 facilities, which is well below the national average.
National average is at 13% or in that range.
I think it's higher.
We're well
No
below.
offense, with the national average?
National, I don't.
But that's across all 8 facilities. So that's something we pride ourselves. Rehospitalization rate, meaning it's being measured and scrutinized very closely now by CMS, and they're putting a lot of pressure on the healthcare system. Because a rehospitalization costs the system a lot of money. Every hospitalization costs tens of thousands of dollars. So if I'm sending out my patients all the time because my nurses don't have the skill or the confidence to treat and keep the patient in-house, I just call the doctor, send them out to the hospital, it costs the system a lot of money. So there's fines and there's financial penalties. So we've worked very hard at reducing our hospitalization rate. So as a company, we're about 8% of new admits total. Yeah.
And those numbers are rough when you have small buildings, because one patient going to the hospital per month can put you at 20% or 18%. So because when you have small buildings, your numbers are harder to maintain. Like you said, you call a doctor during the night, my patient's not doing well. He doesn't hear that confidence on the phone. He's saying send the patient to the hospital, because he knows the hospital will care for the patient. He'll get there in the morning. The fact that they have confidence, keep the patients in house, treat them aggressively with antibiotics. We have good pharmacies, good ancillary providers who help us. And even if you do go to the hospital, we're calling the hospital in advance saying, hey, mom's coming in with these diseases, treat her and send her right back. When you just send somebody out and you wash your hands with them, the hospital has a field day with them because they're getting paid too. Now they're getting penalized as well. If they're, so say Atchison Hospital or K.S.A, KUMC, a bigger hospital, sends a patient to a nursing home, and that patient returns within 30 days, they lose 3% of their Medicare payment. So for a hospital,
With the same diagnosis.
the same diagnosis. A patient goes out with heart failure, CHF, COPD, hips and knees replacements, and a heart attack, any one of those 5 or 6 diseases, you come back within 30 days, the hospital gets a penalty, ultimately we're going to get a penalty as well. So the fact that our rate is very low shows that our staff is competent and the hospitals feel like it's good, because hospitals that I know of on the East Coast have lost millions of dollars. 3% off the top of $1 billion is a lot of money. So it's real. So this is what we do, and Kansas is our company, is our part of the woods. For better or for worse, the food is good here. We'll keep coming back. They don't throw us out. We'll keep
Good.
coming back.
Glad to hear it.
Which brings us to Atchison, right?
Yes.
A little lovely place in Atchison County.
Little burg of Atchison. So, well, have you gotten the information and stuff that you required?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maggie's always been forthcoming and not just giving us information. We usually call her with questions, and she has the answers. So which is a breath of fresh air. We dealt with some companies and brokers. You ask them a question, first they give you the incorrect information, so we got to figure it out on our own. And we call them, they give us the wrong answer. So it's good to have those information. We did rerun the numbers, keeping in mind what we. I will say if we're going to address numbers, we do want to have an executive session if possible.
That was my question, Mr. Chairman, should the tape be rolling?
Well, we haven't got to that point yet, so we'd have to make a motion. So we've got it there.
Did you say it was malfunctioning last time?
No, just the mic. Yeah.
Oh, the mic.
Is the mic working this time?
Well, I didn't hear you.
Is the microphone working this time, or last time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was broken last
I'm
time.
going to clean up my act a little bit.
I make the motion, we go into executive session at 2:11 for discussion concerning possible changes in management and/or sale of Atchison Senior Village, including a specific financial proposal from Recover Crack. Do I got to read the rest of it?
From Recover Crack.
I would second that.
The justification for the closed session is to discuss data relating to the financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trust, and individual proprietorships as allowed by K.S.A. 75-4319. Public disclosure of any specified offer would give other interests in the facility a financial advantage. The board should come out of executive session at 3:50. Too long?
And it'd be, how long do we need? Half hour? I'm guessing.
The board should come out of executive session at 2:40 p.m. in the commissioner room, first floor courthouse, and those present will be the county commissioners, County Councilor Pat Henderson, Peggy House, and Zish
Margulis?
and Nathan Fraun of Recover Care. Now you can second it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go in executive session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0. Camera off?
And lock the door when we go out.
So again, we'll get with our folks. We'll get creative. I think we have a good understanding of it. And like I said in the beginning, this is not a divestiture. This is a partnership, something that you guys are ahead of the game in realizing that this is not something you want liability on long term.
Mhm.
As you said, the industry's changing. It's a matter of how fast and how fast and how deep it's going, but it's moving, and it's our main focus. It's probably not your main focus, and you know, I think we're not far away, and you know, we can get, I don't know if you've seen bios on all our staff, our local Kansas staff. 5 out of our 6 regional live in Kansas, 1 lives in Nebraska. I think he's a Chiefs fan, even though he lives in Nebraska, but he's Kansas as you know, he's here all week. So we're you know, for all intents and purposes, Kansas based, and it's in our blood. So we won't disappoint you.
I stopped at your Wathena and toured that, your facility there, and I was pleased. So,
You went there as a customer, right?
hmm?
You went there as a customer.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay.
They don't let him leave. They thought he was.
But potential customer. I mean, I have parents. I mean, really, this is, you know, it's
Five-star
not.
facility,
Hmm?
you have the highest rating for Medicare.
And I was impressed with the staff and facility, and if I wasn't, I wouldn't be very interested. But I was
Yeah.
impressed.
I mean, nursing homes is no one wakes up when they say they want to be in a nursing home.
No.
So, or for their loved ones. So it's usually a difficult process to place somebody in a nursing home. Unfortunately, most kids or teenagers volunteer somewhere. They swear they'll never go back there. As a teenager, you remember going there, you know, Christmas time and whatnot, and making people smile, and the smell, and just the look of it. And then 20 years later, you're putting your grandmother and mother in there, and then 40 years later, you break a leg, God forbid, and you're back in the nursing home. It's all you never go to.
Yeah.
But it's our job to rebrand that experience that everyone has as a youngster and make it appealing, you know. So it's a privilege. It's a privilege and an honor to do what we do. You know, he started off in finance. I started off in finance. We both could have been sitting behind desks for the rest of our lives. And we honestly, even sitting here today, we're making a difference in someone's life. That's the beauty of healthcare. Even sitting here and not having been to Atchison, not having been to my other facilities today, I know we've made a difference in someone's life in a positive way, because we just ordered new software today for one of our facilities that will help patients with wounds. It will. So it's a privilege and an honor, and we look forward to partnering with you guys.
Okay, well, I think we're going to get there.
Excellent.
I would suggest we're going to tour. We'll get a little creative. We will have our attorney contact Pat, that person. We'll
Mhm.
CC Peggy and you. Some of the emails I've got. No offense, I only have any emails I have. And then he'll, you know, get creative on some of the ideas. He's done a few Kansas deals already, both the Genesis deal and some other deals he did as well in Kansas. We recommend in Kansas, and we'll get closer and closer.
Sounds good.
Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Hopefully before the snow, right?
Snow.
Why can't we wait till after October?
It was 90 degrees yesterday, and they're talking snow.
Well, I was listening to Wyoming radio this morning. I grew up near Laramie, and it was 27 degrees and snowing.
Wow.
So, this morning.
Laramie.
Laramie, Wyoming.
Oh, Wyoming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Where did you fit in your, at what point were you working in the garment district?
Oh, I worked for 2 companies, one called Palmyra out of Omaha, and then I ran the jewelry division in Bentonville for Walmart. So,
They brought you in out of New York City.
no, a lot, yeah, and Hong Kong and Far East China.
The traffic is still bad in New York City, and not much has changed, so it's just,
Well,
you'd
yeah.
love it or you hate it.
Yeah, it's not $20 from the airport by taxi
No,
anymore.
no. You know what they were doing? The taxis were taking advantage of the immigrants. They would, you know, get into a cab in JFK and then drive around the city for 2 hours.
Yeah,
And then they'd charge you $200 to get to Manhattan.
Ah.
So the NYPD placed undercover Chinese police officers walking out of the airports, you know, as if they were
Mhm.
they were tourists. They'd get into these cabs, and the cabs would try to take advantage, and they would arrest them. They would penalize them.
Now there's a flat rate, that's why.
Now that's not right.
But with Uber and Lyft, I don't know, I doubt they have Uber out in Atchison.
Well, I
they're
think
actually Uber is.
You
Yeah,
do?
there is Uber,
We
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, we have Uber. We're not that far removed
I
from the
know,
world.
wow.
But I remember
But I
we
could-
always told the driver to take the 59th Street Bridge from LaGuardia, because it was faster than, and they always want to go to the tunnel.
And the
Sit
tunnel
there and-
also is a fee.
Well, there's a fee, but there's also that
Bottleneck, yeah.
bottleneck.
But also now people would have an app and they'd be looking at the map and going, hey, he's going in circles. They would know.
Can't pull
So I'll
it.
tell you, 9 months ago I was in Vegas. I got off the airplane and we took a cab. The guy took us not directly to the hotel. It took some time to get there, like $27 to get from the airport. On the way back, we took an Uber like $8.
Yeah.
So even two savvy people 9 months ago, you don't know your way around. You're gonna get.
Yeah, he took you over the interstate, which is the fastest way probably, but the longest way.
Vegas? Yeah, I mean, there's 2 ways to go to
Yeah.
the strip,
Yeah.
and we got taken for a
Right.
ride.
The last thing I'll say is if we do close the deal, it's got to be in New York. So bring you guys out to New York,
Okay.
take the 59th Street Bridge.
Along with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna want to come back here. So take the 59th Street Bridge. We can retrace your steps in the Garment District
Yeah.
and make it happen.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much again.
I'm gonna just grab the donuts, give it to the staff. and
Sure.
give it to them. I did
Sure.
last time.
Peggy.
On my card, I didn't have it last time. Just give it my card.
And I've got one.
I don't
So-
even have a card.
Yeah,
I'll probably get one
50,000.
sometime.
Or will you take the 90,000?
Okay.
Did you want one, Eric?
No, go ahead.
That's a never solved trouble.
I had a large lunch or else I always told Mom and Dad if they ever had to have a trap to catch me, they'd bait it with donuts because I normally can't leave them alone.
There's no way to fit Atchison on
alright.
this card.
Oh,
Just check it on
yeah.
this.
And that's the reason.
It's
I
a
will.
big
Make sure you're
problem.
clear.
Yeah, yeah. And I
It's
would,
gonna speak for itself. We'll just say that's our model facility. You know, like you buy a bunch of homes, right? It's a model
because
home.
it's,
Yeah.
they can't.
I see.
Well, thank you very much.
My
The
pleasure.
only
Nice
way
to
would
see
be
you.
that other thing, and it
Alright.
would take too long.
Gentlemen, Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. And actually, we
See you
could say
again.
Happy New Year. It was just
Okay.
Another one on the way out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you
What do you
very
have
much.
left? You
The
guys?
apples and honey and all that stuff. That
no,
was
it was,
last week, so.
So then you got young
See you
people.
again.
so ignorant on the culture that
Yeah,
I've never.
out here I don't expect any. It's
Yeah.
not.
It's interesting, but I've just never been exposed to it.
No, yeah, in New York, it's a whole different ballgame. I said Happy New Year. It was Rosh Hashanah on the Jewish
Is
calendar.
it sweet Rosh Hashanah? It's not
Happy Sweet New Year. We did
Yeah.
food into honey. It's very symbolic. A lot of symbolism.
Well, I was in the I had some retail visitors here. I bought an entire truckload of holiday wrap
I bet his
for
card
like
over there.
$1,200. I was Grace Field other. We got the truck off the whole truckload of
I'm
holiday.
just going to put it right here.
Wrapping paper.
Yeah, right.
That's
It
it.
is
Well,
called holiday
whatever,
that's
paper.
fine.
I'm going to put it with the others.
Okay.
So I actually had a while to get rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Again.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we need an executive session for anything?
I'd say we would.
Okay.
On the very same thing as that first. Just repeat it probably for 15, 20 minutes.
Would that work, Pat? Would that?
Well, no, you'd want to be, would need to be an attorney-client,
Okay. You tell me what
I
I'm,
would guess.
or you want to read it?
Well, I don't know who I have.
Oh, is this
You
one?
did say attorney-client, right?
Yep.
So then I
Yep.
just gotta.
Do I hear a motion that the Board of County Commissioners recesses into executive session at 2:50 p.m. for consultation with an attorney as for the public body, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship as allowed by K.S.A. 75-4319B2, and that the purpose of the closed session is to protect confidentiality of the discussion, and that the board came out of the executive session at, were we talking 10 minutes? At 3 p.m. in the commission room, first floor courthouse, and those present will be the three commissioners and Pat Henderson. Do I hear the motion?
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Pass 3-0. Okay, it's It's 3 o'clock. Is there anything more? Petitions, introduction, resolutions?
Have to say no action taken.
I move to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn at 3 o'clock. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Pass 3-0. We are adjourned. Make sure I've got everything signed. Oh, the bills. We haven't signed any of that yet. Which
So recording's doing stuff.
I think you can stop it. It's nothing that has to